YouTube, what is going on? We are back with fantasy football content for you guys. My name is Calvin Cameron. This is MJC, otherwise known as Malik. We are going to be going over people at positions that we think can be position number one, or player number one at their position, rather. So, for instance, obviously people were probably picking Justin Jefferson right now as the wide receiver one. We're going to give you a surprise name that could possibly finish higher if all the stars align. We're going to be doing two at every position. We're starting with the quarterback. Malik, would you like the honors or would you like me to?
I would love it. Good
Okay.
morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. Nice to meet you. My name is Malik, and we're just gonna get right into it. So my first name that comes up here is actually Justin Herbert. Air QB, if you will. So I mean, let's be honest. Like last year, he played, most of, if not the entire season, injured. He had the rib injury, and that really affected him. He really didn't want to get hurt and hit in the pocket. And he's 2 years now removed from a QB2 finish, where I think he was 22 points off of a QB1 overall finish. And then the addition of Kellen Moore, I feel like that may have been, if not the best overall coach signing for a team, one of the top ones. Kellen Moore, when he had the opportunity to conduct an offense and lead an offense, he has twice where he's had the number one offense in terms of yards per game as an offensive coordinator, and he also had the NFL's highest scoring offense in 2021. Whether it be through the run or the pass or anything like that. And finally, Hubie's going to have all of his weapons at his disposal. That's always been kind of the moniker behind the Chargers, was injuries. So yeah, Hubie is the person who kicks it off for me.
Not to mention the fact that they all seem to be healthy. It has been the thing that has limited him in the past. They also got Quentin Johnson now too, which is an electric deep threat out of TCU. So a lot of potential there for him. This one might be like a homer pick or a bias pick, and if you want to come at me for it, go ahead. But I got numbers to back it up. My first name is Aaron Rodgers. He's being drafted as the quarterback 17 right now, ADP around 99. Rodgers is in a new system now with a lot of electric weapons, and some that you like in Garrett Wilson. Like, he has an entire system around him that allows him to space out the field, including two dynamic running backs that can catch the ball, PPR monsters that people will probably end up picking in the middle rounds to kind of have as a committee. That defense too, and I don't think that's something that people will think about a lot when it comes to like the quarterback, running back position. When a team has a good defense, it allows them to be on the field more. It's more opportunities, it's more snaps, it's more reps per game. Rodgers is going to be in the field a lot, unless he somehow turns the ball over more than he ever has in his career, which I don't see him doing, but there's always the possibility. 2022, he was third in the fantasy quarterback rankings. He missed a game from COVID, which was kind of silly at the time, but it is what it is. He was 18 points shy of first place from Josh Allen. He was averaging 24 fantasy points per game. So if he would have played that game, hypothetically speaking, he would be quarterback one in 2020. 2021, he had a bad week one, 3 fantasy points, and then he missed 2 games also. And he was quarterback 9, where he would have, if he would have hit his average for every other game besides those 3, he would have been the quarterback 2. So to say that Aaron Rodgers is, necessarily a sleeper to be quarterback 1 feels a little off to me. I know he had a bad year, but overall, Aaron Rodgers to me is a sneaky pick who could be quarterback 1 if all the stars align.
And let's not forget, as the great Stephen A. Smith says, he's a bad man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Who do you have at your second quarterback?
So my second quarterback is going to be my personal MVP pick for this year. Going to be Trevor Lawrence. Look, he is 1 year removed, or I guess now it'd be 2 years removed from the catastrophe that was Urban Meyer. Doug Peterson has always been a great QB guy. Doug Peterson, has always been a pretty good coach in his own right. The guy won a Super Bowl with Nick Foles as his quarterback.
Big Dick Nick. Yes, sir.
Yeah, you can't deny it, man. Dude knows what he's doing when it comes to QBs. And I feel like the stars are really aligning when it comes to Trevor Lawrence. To be honest with you, I feel like there are, few and far between when it comes to players who are just an absolute savant at the game. And Trevor Lawrence, he looks the part, he plays the part, he feels the part. And not only that, like he just added a wide receiver one, and not only just a wide receiver one. Like a couple of years ago, people were talking about Calvin Ridley as potentially being the top wide receiver in the NFL.
The next Julio, if you will.
Exactly. So, adding Calvin Ridley looks great, even with the extended layoff that came with everything that happened with him. I think that there's a real possibility for Trevor Lawrence here to get 35 passing touchdowns and 400 yards on the ground and not only to mention like he's gonna get some opportunities near the goal line. The Jaguars are sort of like in a limbo stage when it comes to what they're gonna do at running back.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't surprise me at all if Trevor Lawrence got 3, 4, 5 rushing touchdowns. Because he does have that sneaky upside when it comes to rushing and his ability to, get, into favorable positions when it comes to that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my guy.
Trevor Lawrence always seems like, so there's times where you pick a quarterback in a fantasy football draft, and you're like, I'm not sure about this guy. Never like. Short career so far, but I've never felt bad drafting Trevor Lawrence. I've always been like, that's a good pick for me. I like that a lot. My second quarterback, and this might be a shocker to some people. Shout out my boy Dan, who's a Dolphins fan. I'm going Tua Tagovailoa. Look, when you have a wide receiver core made up of Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, the possibility of you exploding every single game for 40 fantasy points because you have 4 passing touchdowns, 300 yards is always going to be there. Like there's always that possibility. Not to mention, you brought it up rather. They have a carousel of running backs who can do different things. They have a pass catcher. They have a guy that can run the ball down the middle of the field. So you never really know what the Dolphins' offense is going to entail. That being said, I think that's like the perfect recipe for a boom or bust quarterback potential in Tua Tagovailoa. Currently being drafted as the 9th quarterback, ADP 87. He should be able to get a ton of good looks, and there should be some pressure relieved off of him, obviously, because of Tyreek and Jalen Waddle. They did lose Mike Gesicki, which it's a shame that we don't get to see his gritty and Dolphins colors anymore. But nonetheless, Tua has a lot of potential to possibly get there. Not to mention last year, he finished as the quarterback 15, which is shocking despite the fact that he missed 4 games, which means that every other quarterback that was healthy below him and didn't miss any games wasn't as good. But before he got hurt, he was dropping 40.9 in week 8, 9, and 10. He dropped 29, 24, 23. Collectively, the boom or bust potential is there. And sure, he's going to have bad weeks, but there is a 40-point opportunity every single time you have Tua as your quarterback in fantasy football.
I mean, I love that pick, especially when you really break down the passer rating, everything that comes with, Tua. I mean, he was an MVP candidate last year before he got hurt, honestly.
Yep.
And, him, just learning the NFL style, learning in the offense, having Mike McDaniels. I love that pick.
Mike McDaniels is an electric head coach, too.
Yep.
If you made it to this point of the video, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Comment down below who you think could possibly finish number 1 at any of the positions. And make sure that you come back for the next video. Make sure you're here for our lives on Sundays. We go live at 8 a.m. every single Sunday to make sure that you guys are set up with your fantasy lineups. If you have fantasy trades, make sure you hit us up on Twitter or Instagram, any of the above. Drop it in the comment section down below. We're here to help at the end of the day. But for Malik, for myself, for the SLG Network, signing off. Deuces.